this afternoon. Supporting him now Barrett at Fork and Michael McGrath, Donegal. And so Pat Fallon straight away, launching the first attack up towards Kieran MacDonald, who earns his living working in the construction industry in Offaly. Here's Kieran McManus, trying to set up Offaly's first attack, but he takes too many steps with it. The referee is in very smartly indeed. He's been a real powerhouse, of course, in the midfield this year for Offaly. In towards Liam McHale. How will he perform playing at full forward? Gets there easily ahead of the full back. Well, a very poor finish after all of that. It's said that he does not particularly like playing at full forward. Prefers to be out more in the action, facing the goal around midfield.
Well, I suppose, Jared, the two confrontations between full backs and full forwards will be the key to this game. Larry Carroll has had his problems at full back for Offaly, and Roy Malone on the other end has destroyed most full backs, so should be interesting.
This is David Netster, remember playing right half forward. Into space, MacDonald making a diagonal run across. Dermot Flanagan chasing him. Still MacDonald. Maurice Sheridan trying to set something up. Out it comes towards the new man, David Heaney. Youngster playing in his first championship match. Good ball inside. David Nestor was probably in the... So most of the attacking so far being done by the team playing with the wind. This is Pádraig Kelly playing in his 8th championship match. And he really made something of a mess of the kick out. Pressure back on his goal. And they leave the sideline kick here to Maurice Sheridan. Expert free taker that he is. It'll punt ahead for Liam McHale, getting out ahead of the fullback each time. Second chance of a score. First point for Liam McHale. And really it was the quality of the ball played in by Maurice Sheridan from the sideline kick that time that made this possible.
Yes, Liam McHale kicking a good point off his left foot. Most of the Offaly backs expected Maurice Sheridan, I think, to go for a point as he kicked in the Connacht final against Sligo, kicked over a sideline from more or less the same position. But Larry Carroll twice there has been far too allowing Liam McHale much room, and he's paid the price with that point.
Here's McManaman back after a 2-month suspension, this time going to the left. Wins an awful lot of good ball around midfield, Colin McManaman, but his use of it sometimes leaves something to be desired. But it was interesting the kind of ball that they were targeting for Liam McHale there. He gets out ahead of the full back, and there is a feeling that if the ball was pumped in really high, that Carroll would have a better chance of dispossessing McHale. So far the Offaly goalkeeper, much the busier. Again he slips. Ronan Mooney trying to take it in midfield. Instead it's played forward by Fergal Costello. This is Barry Malone. Kicked ahead to MacDonald. Instinctively going for it, even though David Nestor made a very good run through the centre, which MacDonald surely saw. Well, it's been an old Mayo failing in the past to spurn many useful chances.
Yes, 4 minutes gone and four Mayo wides, and a lot of them bad wides. That should really have been a point from Kieran MacDonald. Again, one of the players who missed a lot of chances in the Connacht final.
This time the goalkeeper going for plenty of height. Sean Grennan breaking it down. David Reynolds coming onto it, had the distinction of scoring the first point in the Leinster final this year, Reynolds. Here's James Nallon. And that time Larry Carroll out there ahead of McHale, but he misses it. McHale showing his skill on the ground. Good pick up. Good lay off to Kieran MacDonald. So far it's all about the Mayo inside forward line, and MacDonald picking up his first point of the day. Good start for him.
Well, a dreadful mistake there by Larry Carroll. Should have been easy for the full back. Leaves it behind him. Liam McHale to Kieran MacDonald and an easy point. But Larry Carroll has had a disastrous first 5 minutes.
So 2 points to no score. Well, Offaly in defence will have to minimise these errors and quickly. Broken down here by Kieran McManus. Again taken nicely clear. Heaney once again involved in the thick of the action at midfield for Mayo. Liam McHale this time the provider. Maurice Sheridan towards David Nestor. Again trying to skin the man in the corner here. That's Tom Coffey, his tackler there as it were. Comes back off McHale's boot, but he was out over the end line and wide. Well, not a lot for the Offaly fans so far to cheer about after their marvellous performance here just 2 weeks ago. Finbar Cullen pressurised, but getting good assistance and support. John Kenny. Again, it's James Nallon who comes across here just to try and seal off the gaps, keeping it away from Grennan. Pat Fallon picking it up. Huge one downfield. Again, it's David Nestor. He's got support with MacDonald alongside him. Instead, it's in for McHale. The layoff back to MacDonald again. It was lovely football up to that point there. But now 6 wides for Mayo, and only just about 6 minutes and 50 seconds gone. It must be a great deal of concern and a source of worry for John Mahon that they've made this kind of a start. Should have a few more scores. James Nallon again. Nicely laid off towards Colin McMenamin. Ronan Mooney alongside him. Back to McMenamin. And it's Finbar Cullen coming in with an elbow. Free from the 13-metre line. The Offaly captain just trying to make sure that there are no gaps left in the Offaly defence for Mayo to exploit.
Surprising that Maurice Sheridan is taking this free and he doesn't leave it to Kieran MacDonald with his left foot to swing in from that side. It should really suit a left-footed player with the wind helping him. All he would have to do put it up and the wind would draw it in.
Well, that's the angle, and as you can see, it's most difficult, especially for a right-footed kicker, as Cullum says. He's gone away to the left. McHale has it. Can he produce something? Back out towards James Horan. Blocked down well. Ronan Mooney. Again, it's Horan in there, picked off the ground. And James Horan will remember his championship spell here last autumn and how productive it was in those matches against Meath. John Mahon had his side overnight in Maynooth College. Offaly, of course, travelled up this morning. Vista down there. Again, it's taken away here by Noel Kennelly, Mayo's captain. Referee has a word with Kieran McManus from Tubber. Kennelly's kick. Nestor again trying to go by Tom Coffey. Once again the foul, once again the free. And again they're entrusting it to Maurice Sheridan. His darting runs, David Nestor, so far causing a few bothers for the likes of Tom Coffey. It's on the 20-metre line this time. Angle a tiny bit better for him.
Again, to me, it would seem like a very strange decision, given that to a right-footed free taker when there is a left-footed player on the team.
Looking for Mayo's third score. Curls it in off the post. Back down it comes. And this time it's put to the left. The umpire wasn't 100% sure. The goalkeeper was trying to help him make his mind up. But again, James Horan out of luck. Said to have been under pressure for his place in the Mayo half-forward line after the Connacht Championship.
It's fairly noticeable, Jared, that even at this stage, after 10 minutes, Mayo won every break in the middle of the field, and they're also physically stronger than the Offaly team, able to get in and knock them out of the way.
But Fallon breaking that one down away from Ronan Mooney, but it's gathered back by John Kenny. Now Kieran McManus in towards that highly thought inside forward line. Vinnie Claffey in pursuit. Back there, however, is Fergal Costello for Mayo. Dermot Flanagan. Now Colin McMenamin. Very much the runner in this team. Up to Pat Fallon. In towards Liam McHale. Again, his control just leaving him down this time. Easy one for Larry Carroll to come and take. Ronan Mooney trying to link up in there with David Reynolds. Broken back here again to Larry Carroll. Now John Kenny. Here comes Ronan Mooney once again. Finbar Cullen, winner of an All-Ireland minor medal back in 1989, playing for the minor hurlers against Clare. Sean Brennan was also on that team. And the foul is by James Nallen. Player went down. David Reynolds nicely inside towards Vinnie Claffey. Mayo trying to seal off the route towards goal. Dermot Flanagan trying to get in a challenge. So too James Nallen spills out of his grasp. Back it comes towards Sean Brennan again. The kick has dropped into the goalkeeper's arms. Easy one for Peter Burke to take. Fergal Costello. 2 against 1. Offaly there in numbers. Finbar Cullen stepping away from the would-be trouble. Ronan Mooney. Nice ball inside here to one of the trickiest players that Offaly have, Peter Brady. Trying to pick out support here. Claffey with the shot. Goalkeeper was going backwards to make his save. First 2 attacks that Offaly have had in this match, failing to produce a score, however. Colin McMenamin, lovely sidestep, but McManus was not outfoxed by that. That's back in by Heaney towards his own man, towards Dermot Flanagan. James Horan. Booted ahead towards David Nestor. Causing problems. Cathal Daly, his marker, just there, and he knocks it over the bar. Lots of authority in the way he approached that attack. So every one of the Mayo inside forward line has now scored.
Great point by David Nestor off his right foot, but the amount of steps that he took there, incredible that the referee allowed him to get away with that, considering that he had given a decision for a similar offence against Kieran McManus a few minutes earlier. But a great score, great point from play, but Mayo dominating the game and really should be much more in front.
So our reporter on the sideline this afternoon, once again with some news for us, Marty Morrissey.
Well, Jared, just to tell you that Kieran McManus is now back at midfield. He started centre forward. Sean Greenan has taken up the centre forward position, marking James Nallen.
Well, there's a certain amount of interchange which they are allowed, of course. Players who are quite comfortable playing it out of midfield or in the centre half forward position. Here comes Finbar Cullen over the head of Vinnie Claffey. His marker going back there, Dermot Flanagan, well aware of the threat he possesses. And the umpire has signalled that it went off the back. It's gone for a 45. One of the wiliest old campaigners in this game, Dermot Flanagan. Certainly you can be sure that Offaly will be hoping to try and test his perceived lack of pace at this stage in his career. It's Kieran McManus to hit the 45. Breeze has dropped maybe just a little. Didn't connect all that terribly well. Pat Holmes back there, the Mayo full-back. Up towards Colin McMenamin, doing a lot of roaming. Kennelly, who loves to come forward as well, the team captain. Great ball inside. Nestor battling in there with Cathal Daly. And in the end, the ball just having too much pace for the corner forward.
Well, Offaly have made changes in their backline, probably to curb David Nestor, who was getting a lot of possession. They switched across to our best marker, Cathal Daly, who was on Maurice Sheridan. He now has taken up David Nestor. Tom Coffey has gone across to mark Maurice Sheridan.
Yeah, plenty of changes, lots of switches around, just to try and counteract the threat of the opposition. Ronan Mooney can't make the catch. It's Maurice Sheridan for Mayo instead. Astute play. James Nallen stepping away from the trouble. Nicely ahead for Pat Fallon. Should be a point for the taking here. Good score. Pat Fallon from Bar, bringing these cheers from the Mayo fans up there on the canal end. They're in their thousands this afternoon. Remembered for a goal he got against Leitrim in the Connacht final, very first minute a few years ago. He's made it 4 points to 0. Offaly will have to try and get as close to Mayo as possible for half-time, having the wind at their backs for the second 35 minutes. Sideline ball to be taken by Fergal Costello. This is David Heaney. 4 balls straight to Ronan Mooney. Now to Kieran McManus. Trying to bring Peter Brady into the play. That's Mortimer alongside him, Kenneth Mortimer. In the last few years he's been among Mayo's very best defenders. Kicked in there by Noel Connelly. All the way towards Liam McHale, but it beats him, but not Cathal Daly. Trying to keep the threat of David Nestor to the bare minimum. That's Daly again. And that's Roy Malone, who was being dragged back by Pat Holmes. Quick free inside towards Vinnie Claffey. Support play here coming from Colm Quinn. Had an excellent Leinster final. Student in Athlone. Going to the right, but still in play. Fisted back in, and the goalkeeper very nearly falling over his own goal line. Did well to keep that one out. Pat Fallon has it. Well, not the nearest we were to a goal so far in this match. Maurice Sheridan. Again, direct play into the inside forward line. Liam McHale had come short for it. An appeal to the kicker not to be so long next time around, I think. Here's Larry Carroll. Right across. Dangerously so, Kieran McManus. Fortunately keeping that one away from David Heaney. Offaly come looking for their first score in this match. Sean Brennan, an Offaly player on the ground. Ronan Mooney, scoring chance. Gap opens up for him. Good play inside by the inside forward line, and that should have been. Peter Brady did well that time to keep his man back and to open up a little channel from which Ronan Mooney should have been able to exploit a great deal more.
Maurice Sheridan is going to be booked here for a late tackle on Kieran McManus after he gave the ball over his head. Good decision by the referee there. He let the play go on, had seen the incident and came back then and booked him. But Ronan Mooney could have kept going there. Plenty of open space in front of him. He could have kept going. Colm Quinn gives this ball across here, and Peter Brady goes up behind, and Peter Burke just caught off his line. It could have dropped in over his head very easily. Good recovery.
John Kenny, wing back for Offaly. Down to Roy Malone, scorer of those 2 marvellous goals against Meath. Offaly having difficulty coming back to that kind of tempo again. Just 2 weeks between matches. It was never going to be easy for them. It's Kenneth Mortimer's kick. Inside towards Kieran MacDonald. Into McHale. He's got a man outside if he could flick it on, but he couldn't. Good play by Tom Coffey. On to Ronan Mooney. Had that chance just moments ago. Colm Quinn next. He gifts it there to Fergal Costello. David Heaney. Better play here by Mayo. Sheridan's kick, however, has gone astray, picked up by Barry Malone. Now Colm Quinn. Looking around to see just who's unmarked, and nobody at that particular time. Brady chasing for this one. You can see by the expression on his face that he wasn't too pleased with the nature of the pass across field.
Well, Offaly just need a point to settle them down. They're beginning to do better in open play. 2 weeks ago against Meath, at this stage they had about 2 goals and 6 points on the board. Now they haven't even got a wide, never mind a score. Or 1 wide, is it?
Just one so far, I think. There is Maurice Sheridan leading it there for James Horan. Next it's Colin McMenamin. And the referee says foul by the Offaly defender, indicting Tom Coffey. So the Offaly defenders, Uncle Tom Coffey and all back there to mind the house. Maurice Sheridan with 2 frees taken so far, no success, but they were from, as it were, the wrong side of the field for him. Now this is absolutely perfect, having just been booked. It should be Mayo's 5th score, and Maurice Sheridan's first. Right between the posts. Mayo with a 5th. And Maurice Sheridan's first pointed free after 3 attempts. So 21.5 minutes gone, and it's Mayo 5, Offaly no score. Hard work by Colin McMenamin and his colleagues out around midfield to try and win vital possession. Mayo certainly have gone into their rhythm a great deal faster. James Nallon towards McHale. Nice layoff. Sheridan. Past James Horan, on for Kieran MacDonald instead. His marker slips. The kick by MacDonald going to the right. And that's now a 9th wide. They're in their stride all right, but they haven't found the range with the degree of regularity that you'd expect. And Tommy Lyon, certainly the Offaly manager, just looking to try and set up a first attack there in a chat with Paul O'Kelly, and his other selector, of course, is Eddie Fleming. And while John Mahon has seen his side build up a decent lead, opposition remains scoreless, but he has the wind at his back. But they've missed so many chances. Kieran McManus has that one broken away by Pat Fallon. James Horan setting one up here for the flying Fergal Costello. That's a wonderful kick. Fergal Costello from Ballin Road, a new man in the championship this season, playing in just his 4th championship match, his first point. Well, that was simplicity in the manner of its execution, and it's now Mayo 6, Offaly 0.
Well, rarely have I ever seen a team totally dominating a game so much in All-Ireland semi-final. Good play by James Horan on to Fergal Costello. But again, Offaly can't seem to just get their hands on the ball around the middle of the field from these kickouts.
Ronan Mooney gathering this one well. Good catch. John Kenny. Colin Quinn is just to his right. Good pace here. Nicely inside. Should be the first score. And it is eventually. And it's Colin Quinn who's got it. The number 10, the wing forward, coming into the scoring act. Remember his 4 marvellous points against Meath.
Well, a great run by John Kenny, taking out 3 or 4 backs there, leaving an easy chance for Colin Quinn, who's a left-footed player coming in off that side. A relatively easy chance, and Offaly now should settle down and play with a bit more confidence.
He's a business studies student at the RTC in Athlone. Kieran McManus, meanwhile, down receiving the attention there from Dr. Jim Quinlan from Tullamore. Just to try and deaden the pain, I think. And the referee making sure that the John's Ambulance people remain on the field. Thought at one stage he was going to dismiss them, but he's allowing them in to give the attention along with the doctor. McManus still a student. So concern on the faces there. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Peter Burke from Kilfdima. under 21 this year. He's a nephew of Eugene Lavin, of course, former Mayo goalkeeper. Offaly win it back in midfield. David Reynolds, their free taker. Nicely forward. Again, it's Peter Brady. Roy Malone trying to somehow get through this tight marking defence. They've done well, and that should be a second one, but comes off the post and back out to Colin McMenamin. Well, Offaly had the chance there to fist a second point, but it just came off the upright. Disappointment for Vinnie Claffey.
In this situation, you'd Roy Malone taking on his man, Vinnie Claffey doing the same. Very unfortunate with the punch attempt. But Offaly full forward line now beginning to get their hands on the ball and causing problems when they do.
They're looking for some decent possession, of course, to turn it into chances. The supply was so good in the Leinster final. Meanwhile, Fergal Costello setting up another attack for the Connacht champions. Liam McHale back towards James Horan. And what a famous Mayo name. John Kenny, who set up that last scoring chance there. This is Tom Coffey. Down to Kieran McManus. Players calling for it. Roy Malone, difficult one for him to contain. Holmes was coming from behind. Line ball to Offaly. Kicked inside again. Towards Vinnie Claffey this time, and he's fouled by Dermot Flanagan. Free into Offaly. A scoreable situation, this. So David Reynolds, first chance of a free in this match. They mentioned at the time of the Leinster final that he had a tendency to miss a few frees before he finally got fully into his stride. Well, today I'm afraid there isn't time for him to get into his stride. With about 8 minutes to go to half-time. This is what Offaly need. It's on target, all right, but drops short. Pat Fallon back there. Now Kenneth Mortimer. McManus was again under that one. Challenged by David Nestor. Cathal Daly. Again seeking out Vinnie Claffey. Intelligent ball inside there towards Ronan Mooney. Back out to Colm Quinn again. Looking for a second one. Running into a lot of traffic, however, and Mayo in defence, grouping well, giving nothing away lightly. Sean Grennan with the final kick. Rather a hurried effort, and Offaly's second wide.
It's good play by the Mayo backs there, put a lot of pressure on the man in possession, cut down all of the space available.
And the referee has just halted play because he spotted Pat Holmes down on the ground. Not sure if he has pulled a muscle. There wasn't a player really near him as I saw it at that particular time. The referee stopping the action. It could well be a muscle pull. And he seems to be in considerable distress, and when you consider that Kevin Cahill has already been unable to take his regular position at full-back because of injury, now further problems for John Mahon and for Peter Ford and Tommy O'Malley. The team doctor is Dr. Frank Davey. Can he continue? Well, he's going to. Doesn't look 100%. And he's got the task this afternoon, Pat Holmes, of keeping tabs on Roy Malone with his explosive pace and his ability to come through for scores given decent possession. It's very damp right now, I can tell you, at Croke Park. As Mayo set up another attack. James Horan towards Liam McHale. Getting out ahead of Larry Carroll. Constant threat for the Offaly goal. And this time, Pádraig Kelly coming out quickly, linking up with Cathal Daly. Possession. half an hour where Mayo have simply dominated the exchanges. Well, they've scored 6 points, but where they've had 9 wides as well. And that time it's a foul by Kieran MacDonald. It's a match which needs a great deal more from Offaly. Broken down by Pat Fallon. Reynolds. Left foot inside towards Vinnie Claffey. No foul by Dermot Flanagan, the referee decides. That's Peter Brady going across. Again trying to torment the corner back. Forced into a foul this time. Lots and lots of vocal Offaly supporters over there where Peter Brady is right now. The injury there is to Pat Fallon. Again, the team doctor is forced out quickly to attend to him. So the medical officer has been on a couple of times now in the last 5 minutes. Of course, it's David Brady's fractured dislocation of the ankle on the 31st of January last that certainly paved the way for Pat's return to the Mayo colours. Meanwhile, it's David Reynolds. Very awkward angle. Can he curl it in? He can. Super kick. From the free, David Reynolds with his first point of this match. Bit more. And the travelling fans here in their thousands a bit more hopeful. Well, that was a real pressure kick, and now just 4 between them. It doesn't reflect the nature of the first half because Mayo have been much the more dominant, the better side all through, and yet they have kicked themselves almost out of it with those 9 wides.
Good work there by Peter Brady, who won that free, didn't give up on a ball that looked lost for him.
Here's Pat Fallon, happily recovered again. Barry Malone protesting there, but referee says play on. Here's Kieran MacDonald. Still Malone staying goal side, trying to flick that ball away from the incoming forward. Colin McMenamin to Liam McHale. Forced back again towards Maurice Sheridan, and this time it's gone away to the left. In the teeming rain here, Mayo now with 10 wides, which is a very, very high level in the first half, and will certainly cause a lot of concern to John as those supporters there in the lower level of the new stand seek shelter. It is very exposed on a bad day. So still just 4 between them. Fergal Costello, this point was one of the best of the first half. Colin McMenamin going for it himself. David Nestor was in trying to torment the goalkeeper, who did well. Oric Kelly taking out Colm Quinn, got Offaly's first point. Here's John Kenny. Oh, very high challenge there. It's by McHale, and the referee is just warning him. And this will bring all kinds of nasty memories back for Liam McHale of last year's replay final. Name is taken. So that's 2 names booked now, and the referee laying down the law.
Well, it's a very high tackle by Liam McHale. I don't know how he expected to get away without a booking. Again, the size of the man makes it difficult for him to get down low. In that case, anyway, booking is fair enough.
Quinn with the free. All in after it. Vinnie Claffey, it surely will be a throw ball. Referee Paddy Russell, who's handled 2 All-Ireland finals back in 1990 and of course in 1995 as well. This comes nicely down again for Colm Quinn, trying to get that ball out to a loose man who was Finbar Cullen. Again, good work by the Mayo backs. It's been one of those features of the first half which really hasn't managed to shine at all. MacDonald. Finbar Cullen was coming across him. Free kick to Mayo. McDonald limps back into the action again. Once again, they bring Maurice Sheridan out to take the free. This is what happened as Cullen was coming back that time. But an unfair block results in this free to be taken from the hands. Maurice Sheridan kicking delightfully, but again it drops short. And how about that for a curious clearance by the goalkeeper? Touch of the continental soccer goalkeepers about that one. This is Sean Grennan. His brother James, of course, part of the Offaly party as well. He's a sub this afternoon. Ronan Mooney into open space. McManus was making a good run from a deep position, but Dermot Flanagan got back there quickly. Now James Nallen. Memories come flooding back of a great goal by Nallen last year in the semi-final. He's still going forward. And that time the referee saw that he was fouled. Roy Malone back there protesting. And so far Mayo have made 17 scoring chances, taken just 6. Offaly have made 11 scoring chances. After a poor start, they've taken just 2. So well into injury time now. And again, it's Maurice Sheridan who's entrusted with this kick. Just 1 successfully converted free out of 4 in the first half. This is in a very favourable position for him. And this is one that Mayo really need. Lobbed over. His second. So in injury time, Maurice Sheridan with his second point, and that's the final piece of action at the end of the first half, where Mayo go in leading by just 5 points. The rain easing just a little. Worries for the Mayo fans that they may not have done enough in the first half with those 10 dreadful wides. And so going in at half-time, there's just 5 points separating the teams. Mayo, the Connacht champions, lead by 7 points to 2. And let's go straight down to the sideline and to Marty Morrissey.
Peter Ford, Mayo selector, you must be reasonably pleased, but yet you're only in front by 5 points.
Yeah, the team has played quite well. We've dominated the first half. We've kicked a lot of wides. We've had about 7 or 8 wides. It's not easy to score in the conditions, but we should be further ahead. But we're happy. Our defensive play is very good. We're denying the possession inside. Our midfield has been very good. We're winning most of the ball in the half-back line as well. So we're well on top, but we should be further ahead.
The very point that this match should be over by now.
Well, I don't know when it'll be over, but we're 5 up. Maybe we should be 7 or 8 up. But still all to play for. I mean, 5 points isn't a big lead, but if we continue working the way we were in the first half, we're going to be hard to beat.
Do you anticipate a major fight in your hands for the next 35 minutes? Do you think Offaly can get a grip maybe at midfield?
I'm sure they have to, because they've been out of it really for the first 35 minutes, and every team is going to get a spell of dominance, and Offaly are sure to get 10 or 15 minutes soon. And it's a matter of us, we've got to hold them back at that stage and hopefully get on top again ourselves and get more scores.
Peter Ford, thank you for joining us. Back to you, Michael.
So out onto the field here at Croke Park then for the half-time interval. The young national school children from all over the country in the colours of Mayo and Offaly in both boys and girls football, the little exhibition organised by the GAA and the INTO. On that note, as they get all set up to go for their piece on All-Ireland semi-final day, we take a commercial break. Weather. Tony Davis, there's certainly a blight on Offaly this afternoon.
Oh, without doubt. I think Mayo should have the game finished at this stage. I think if they lose this, they'll feel they commit Harry Carey, because they're only 5 points up and they should be 7 or 8. And with that as well, Kieran MacDonald has snatched at shots like he did in the Connacht final as well. James Horan has contributed very little. But overall, in the rest of the game, they've totally dominated. They've won midfield. James Nallen is playing terrific stuff at centre back. And around the midfield area, they're stopping to supply a ball to the Offaly full forward line. So they're not in the game at all.
Yeah, I gather, by the way, for people watching at home, that there's a little break up on our sound at the moment. Apologies about that. The Lee McHale points, the first point from Mayo, Martin Carney, really kind of summed up in a way the ease at which Mayo could be taking scores if they were to take all the chances that they got.
Yeah, I think that was partly down also, Michael, to Larry Carroll's failure to follow him. I think Larry Carroll beforehand expected every ball to be pumped long into Lee McHale, but Maurice Sheridan intelligently played it short. Now, there wasn't any real pressure put on him there. He drifted off his man and, slotted it beautifully with his left foot. But I must say, apart from the actual scores they have got, I think Mayo are physically stronger. They're winning every break around the middle of the field. And I think the pace they played the first 15 minutes at left Offaly breathless.
Yeah.
And one of the negatives for Offaly, Michael, in this, Offaly haven't had really a lot of time to prepare for this match. They've only had 15 days. The first 7 or 8 days, they would have been coming down after their first title since 1983.
Yeah.
And I think actually they were just in a state of shock after a quarter of an hour. But the other thing, the general grouping of the defence, Michael, with the few attacks Offaly have got, has really impressed me. They've got around the Offaly forwards in numbers, not given away too many frees, and made it very difficult for Offaly to assert themselves on the scoreboard.
Tony, for a few minutes there, we thought that we were going to lose 2 Mayo players. We thought that Pat Holmes was gone. We thought that Pat Fallon might be gone with injuries. They've both recovered, and Pat Fallon having a very good game around the middle of the field.
Yeah, Pat is doing very well. So is David Heaney, actually. But Pat Fallon is a very, very good footballer. He's established himself this year with Mayo, and he got a great point against Galway and Tuam. And here we can see him again, just supporting his halfbacks. And this is 40 yards out. He had the confidence to have a shot and straight over the bar. And as we said earlier on, they're winning all the breaks around midfield. There's very few clean possession because of the conditions. It's very, very wet, but they're dominating the whole area, and they're giving good ball into the full forward line as well. Maybe Liam McHale should stay in a little more to give him an option for target. He's moving out from goal a little bit too much, but Pat Fallon is playing very, very well, as well as Fergal Costello, the young wing back. He's playing exceptional stuff as well, coming up along the wing with the ball, and he got a good score for himself as well. I think overall Mayo can be very, very happy with their first half, except for all those wides.
Of course. Well, the mini sevens in full swing behind Mayo at half time at Croke Park. Second half coming up after this commercial break.
Left half forward in a change in the Offaly attack, and David Reynolds has been brought into their inside forward line. So we'll just see whether that makes any bit of difference. Here's Maurice Sheridan, score of 2 points from frees in the first half. Down towards Kieran MacDonald, couldn't hold on to it. That was Barry Malone alongside him. And it'll be a kick out for Offaly. The attendance today just below 60,000 as we anticipated. 58,000 this afternoon.
Well, Offaly, if they're to have any chance, have to start winning breaks around the middle of the field, and the forwards are going to have to start running at their men as they did in the Leinster final.
So those forwards trying to get motoring here. Colm Quinn laying it back here for John Kenny. Inside for Kieran McManus. Outside of the boot. Dermot Flanagan lets it drop down. It runs on here to Roy Malone. Here's a chance. He's missed it. Flanagan got in, and so too did the other man, Fergal Costello, averting a near certain goal right at the start of the half. What a start that would have been for Offaly. Kicked out, but not all that terribly convincingly. Out to Peter Brady. Malone once again. This time saved by Peter Burke. Mayo were certainly living very, very dangerously at the start of the half there. That's Pat Fallon. Got a lot of good breaking ball during the first half. He's taken too long over that. It's going to be a free to Offaly. David Reynolds about to take it. Two frees in the first half. One dropped short, one went over the bar. Taking a great deal of time and care over this. It's curling, but not sufficiently. Colm McMenamin in there, drops it down. Offaly trying to steal a march. Roy Malone back there towards Peter Brady. Over his right shoulder he was kicking that time, and that's a wonderful point. The one man who certainly can inspire this Offaly team is Peter Brady from Edenderry. He'll be 32 in October, but he's still one of the game's very best.
Well, great work by the Offaly forwards in tackling. Roy Malone gets it. Peter Brady under pressure, nowhere to go. Could only put it up in the air and hope for the best. A great point, but we saw in an instant there Roy Malone getting through for a goal chance. That Offaly full forward line have quick hands. They get half a chance, they will be in for a goal.
Well, the message clearly is put the ball into the inside forward line time and again. Ronan Mooney over there protesting that it should be an Offaly ball. Certainly Tommy Lyons, his manager, also felt the same way. Lyons on the left-hand side, John Maughan there as well. James Horan about to hit this. Not from the reverse angle. David Nestor in there to challenge, but well defended by Paul Kelly. Not as far as Pat Fallon it comes. And we get it back on his right-hand side. Ironically, Noel Kennelly was coming along that side and didn't allow him hit it in properly the first time. Good covering back here by Cathal Daly. Juan Malone was his target, but it's picked up by Fergal Costello. Again, James Horan playing over there on that right-hand side. The pick-up here is by Maurice Sheridan. Good work, but right at the end line and eventually out of space.
Here we have this great chance for Ryan Malone. Peter Brady putting into him, loses control. Shouldn't really be hopping the ball on a wet day like today. Should have tipped on his toe once and gone for his goal. Great chance though, wasted.
He must have been thinking about his third goal in as many weeks in the championship. Rory Kelly kicking this one, going to the left this time. Pat Fallon picking it up well. He has support outside. Sean Grennan stopping him over there. That's going to be free to Mayo. Maurice Sheridan coming across to take. Going short this time towards Liam McHale. That was Tom Coffey who got in there ahead of him, however. And the referee saw a foul, and it's going to be a free to Offaly. With an Offaly man down on the ground, there's a possibility, I suppose, of switches or changes. Let's go back down to the sideline once again to Marty Morrissey.
John Maughan has just told Kevin O'Neill to warm up, and Peter Ford is having a word with Kevin O'Neill at the moment, so there's obviously going to be an imminent substitution. Also, the linesman Micheál McGrath got some abuse here from the Offaly supporters when it was clearly an Offaly line ball, but he gave it to Mayo. And a lot of abuse coming at the referee as well for not having a word with Liam McHale, since McHale was booked earlier for that last foul on Larry Carroll.
OK, so there's Kevin O'Neill about to come in for his 10th championship match. Had a wonderful season with Knockmore last year. Well, this is what happened once again.
Tom Coffey stops it going out. Back to Larry Carroll. Liam McHale comes in and hits him in the face. I think he seems to have a cut on the bridge of the nose. But at this stage, I would think that Offaly should be looking for a change in the middle of the field, because Pat Fallon is really dominating that whole area. I think that possibly Offaly could be thinking of switching their two midfielders, putting Kieran McManus on him or Sean Grennan, and let Ronan Mooney go forward.
Well, if they make the change, we understand that the word from the sideline is that James Horan will be replaced. Larry Carroll is OK. Taking up his position again, marking Liam McHale, who has to be very, very careful. That was a fairly innocuous challenge, but he has to be careful, having already been booked in this match. Pat Holmes coming out for it. James Nallen going back. Dermot Flanagan making himself available. Likewise, Kenneth Mortimer. And to keep that ball away from Peter Brady. Flanagan. Well knocked out of defence. James Horan under the dropping ball here. And he had a chance to catch that one. Instead, Offaly have it back again. That's Tom Coffey hitting that one across field. A sideline ball for Mayo results. Sheridan wanting it short.
The kick passing by Offaly in general today has been absolutely dreadful. A lot of these passes, which we're finding the men in the Leinster final, they're going all over the place today.
Yeah, Offaly so far really having great difficulty living up to their billing as very deserving Leinster champions. Finbar Cullen there, exchanging a blow with Colin McManamon, nothing too serious. Kieran MacDonald came out to gather that one well away. This is Pat Fallon having a tremendous match in midfield, but as we say it, almost putting the kiss of death on his chances of getting a second point. But he's worked tirelessly and always made himself available. Offaly also taking the opportunity of perhaps introducing James Grennan, brother of Sean. He came in against Meath just 2 weeks ago. So the little slip of paper being provided there. Nicely picked up. Again, it's Finbar Cullen. Cross here towards John Kenny. Trying to get decent ball into that forward line. Peter Brady fumbles on this occasion. Kenneth Mortimer has it for Mayo. James Horan. Will he be the one to be replaced by Kevin O'Neill if that switch comes about? Larry Carroll. In towards Roy Malone, picked up by Pat Fallon again. He's everywhere this afternoon. Mayo itching to get back into the All-Ireland for the second year in a row and make up for the disappointment of 12 months ago. Kieran MacDonald didn't play in those final matches. Larry Carroll has his dreams of playing as well in the final. And just as we say that, it's Kevin O'Neill who's about to come into picture here, giving the little slip of paper to the referee, Paddy Russell. And also James Brennan has come in. It's Kieran McManus who's gone off for Offaly, and it appears to be James Horan also off for Mayo. So free for Mayo, still with just a 4-point advantage, which should be nothing in most matches. Kieran McManus is so disappointed having to watch Maurice Sheridan, but this is a very tight game. Mayo unable to pull away from Offaly, even though they had the lion's share of possession in the first half. It's a terrific kick. Third point for Maurice Sheridan. Will his free-taking see them through to another All-Ireland final? Still a long way to go, 25 minutes still to go. But Maurice Sheridan has made it 8 points to 3.
Great strike by Maurice Sheridan against the wind. James Brennan has come in there and he's going on to Pat Fallon to try and negative him a bit around the middle of the field.
That was fisted back, but it's Pat Fallon who picks it up again. James Brennan in there to challenge, to try and do a marking job perhaps on the Mayo number 8. Heaney involved in the action, Colin McMenamin as well. In the end, it's booted forward here by Larry Carroll. Picked up by Kenneth Mortimer. Maurice Sheridan. Good ball downfield to Kevin O'Neill. Can he turn this match firmly in Mayo's direction? The Offaly backs doing well. Might have been a free there, but Larry Carroll didn't get that free as Liam McHale came in with the boot as he was about to pick that ball up. Confirmation of the change from Mayo. O'Neill on, Horan off. Sean Grennan here. Again, they're struggling to make any kind of headway. Kicked inside there, but the inside forward line on that occasion slow off the marks. Colin McMenamin towards David Nestor. Great ball down towards Kevin O'Neill. Wrong footing the defender. Cathal Daly trying to get back. This is a great chance. Here's O'Neill. Held back there, however. MacDonald, second time, great block again. Liam McHale, they're making hard work of this. MacDonald coming again, but in the end, the backs hold firm. And nobody firmer than that man there, Cathal Daly. That should have been a goal for Mayo, but it's brilliant defensive work after an initial lapse by Cathal Daly. Real bit of excitement in front of the Offaly goal. Holmes, back again. David Heaney. That's Barry Malone there who was fouled. The lady there continuing to roar on her encouragement for her team. 3 or 4 chances here for a goal.
Well, it's incredible how Mayo didn't score a goal there. Kieran MacDonald with a great chance, and come back Liam McHale with a great chance. Cathal Daly doing a great job.
Back at the action, they still have a great chance here. It's McHale. Maurice Sheridan kicking. His distance kicking hasn't been as good as you normally expect in this match. Good work back there by Ronan Mooney. That was Colin Quinn. Fallon picking it up, picking up everything. Sheridan once again. Again trying to measure this one accurately, but again it's gone wide. 14 wides for Mayo, and that lady there isn't one bit pleased. Offaly, incidentally, just 2 wides in the entire match so far, but none in the second half, and he's got a lot to do, Tommy Lyons, to get this side firmly back in the hunt once more, but they're only 5 points adrift. Good work here. James Drennan. Some hard work inside there for Vinnie Clappy, who's been below his best but has had to live on scraps so far in this match. Finbar Cullen trying to come through somehow, and the referee in the end says he saw a foul. The backs certainly say they couldn't see a foul. They would claim they were being as disciplined as they needed to be. Noel Kennelly back defending. It'll be David Reynolds to take the free. 1 out of 3 so far his success rate, but again, for a left-footed kicker, this is an ideal situation. And after many goal escapes just a few minutes ago at the other end, here's a chance to put just 4 points between the teams. He's missed it. That was a wonderful opportunity. Reynolds now playing at full forward. Peter Burke here, who'd only played in 2 senior challenge matches before that opening assignment against Galway back in Tuam. Pat Fallon coming from behind. Ronan Mooney trying to get that ball through the centre. Pat Fallon stopped over there by Tom Coppey. Mooney gets it back. Now Colin Quinn. Again, look at the tough defensive work here that Mayo are giving us, and more particularly giving the Offaly forwards. Sean Grennan again looking for something, but again wholehearted, disciplined play by the Mayo backs. A couple of very good examples there in the last couple of minutes of the tight marking unit that the Mayo backline have become this year. Not giving away silly frees. Maurice Sheridan with this free kick for Mayo. Again going away from Liam McHale, but Carroll has missed it also. Cathal Daly marking David Nestor. It's with Nestor. Daly trying to put in a challenge. Really working hard for any chances that come his way. And that has gone to the left. 15 wides for Mayo. And a wretched afternoon as well, weather-wise. These Mayo fans won't care about the 15 wides if they're still 1 point ahead at the end of the 70 minutes. They want their place in the final. Corey Kelly's kick out to midfield. Back in there by Noel Kennelly. Colin McMenamin getting himself a free kick. Mayo in no particular hurry to take it. It'll be Maurice Sheridan in any case, their number 10. Midway through this second half. And that has gone away to the left. Well, his side are still in with a chance of making it to the All-Ireland final, and that because of the poor shooting of the likes of Maurice Sheridan in this game.
Well, it's incredible that the total domination by Mayo has continued. Offaly need a bit of inspiration from somewhere. Mayo can now afford to sit back, and Pat Fallon is playing more or less as an extra centre back and leaves James Allen more or less free. So in these sort of conditions, 5 points is quite a healthy lead. Offaly will need a goal to win this game.
Well, that's the first booking for an Offaly player. Larry Carroll with the name taken. Gets picked up, chest high here. James Grennan. Again, they press forward. Offaly looking for something. Grennan once again. Outside this time to Tom Coffey. Slipped from the arms there of Roy Malone. Again, whenever there's a Mayo back in trouble, there's always somebody else in behind. Sometimes Colin McMenamin. And there's going to be another substitution made by Offaly. The player that they have just brought into the action is Mark Daly. Player is figured in the championship already this season. They need to just freshen up their side. Roy Malone is certainly limping. Whether he's the one who'll be replaced, he's still there, limping quite badly. So it's going to be David Reynolds.
Colin Quinn going off. That's a change that has been made on a few occasions in the championship. Mark Daly played there at times, and they have substituted for each other on a number of occasions.
David Reynolds kicking. This a better one. His second point. Well, he's missed a few, and they were vital because there's still this gap between the teams. Oh, an awfully wet afternoon here. Offaly will feel that, well, there's time. There's still some hope. 8 points to 4, they trail. 15 minutes to go. Colm Quinn there from Ballycumber, sitting on the subs bench for the remainder of this match. Offaly looking for something special. Noel Kennelly trying to keep Mayo in front right to the final whistle. David Nestor in towards Kevin O'Neill. Difficult one for him to take. Comes back down here. Heaney to MacDonald. They may live on scraps from time to time, but give the ball to MacDonald and he'll usually put it over for you. That's his second point.
And a long ball by David Nestor into Kevin O'Neill, who does well to fist it down. Picked up there by David Heaney, back to Kieran MacDonald, a very good point. Again, Mayo still not out of sight despite their total dominance.
But Fallon again getting there ahead of James Grennan. His new marker, Noel Kennelly. A little elbow there after he played that one away from Peter Brady. That's John Kenny. One here well by Pat Holmes. Good positioning by the fullback. Kennelly again. Back to Maurice Sheridan. Down to MacDonald. Just trying to squeeze that one through for Kevin O'Neill, but John Kenny again with very good covering. Cathal Daly. It really is a most awful afternoon weather-wise. David Reynolds. Again, Mayo have the chance to build from their own half-back line. James Nallon. Maurice Sheridan next. Well, Tom Coffey was not going to yield an inch. Mark Daly came in with the shoulder, but it was Roy Malone finally who caught the Mayo player. Free for the Connacht champions. Maurice Sheridan on the ground. This time they are leaving the free to somebody else. James Nallon could take it. Nestor, quick again into the space to win possession. Beating Ronan Mooney to it. Kieran MacDonald getting inside. Barry Malone trying to get back goal side. The shot has gone over the bar. This is a wonderful spell for Kieran MacDonald. The ponytailed corner forward has got his third point.
And Kieran MacDonald does well to shepherd the ball down along the line. Beautiful chip up with the left foot, cuts inside. Never any intention of passing. He's been doing this all afternoon, shooting on sight. The last two have now gone over.
Mayo have been much the better team, and it's 10-4. Offaly look tired. It's as though they didn't have enough time to recover after the exertions of winning the Leinster title. Pat Fallon. Sheridan back again here. Mark Daly trying to put in the challenge to dispossess Maurice Sheridan. Here's Noel Kennelly. Again the challenge by Daly. Line ball to Mayo. Just about 12 minutes to go. That's Ronan Mooney. Lets it drop down, regains it well. Challenged by Kevin O'Neill. Now John Kenny for Offaly. Peter Brady having to come way down to the middle of the field, and David Heaney trying to deny him possession. Vinnie Clappy. Again, some very good covering. Well, the Mayo people, I think, of the crowd here will be very pleased with their defence overall. Disciplined and controlled, almost in the word go. Brennan kicking this one in, and that's gone over the bar. That was an amazing kick from some distance. Great kick indeed there by James Drennan. His first point from a huge distance out, and 5 points the margin once again. Mayo unable to pull away completely from the Leinster champions. Peter Burke to kick this one out. Brennan the point scorer under it with Pat Fallon. But there's always somebody there to pick up the pieces. Colin McMenamin. Oh, it slips past Cathal Daly. And Mayo protesting that the ball was touched on the ground there, but the referee says no. Free out, which is taken by Barry Malone. Goes over everybody. Vinnie Clappy with Dermot Flanagan right alongside him, as he has been for most of this match. And Clappy hasn't scored, Roy Malone hasn't scored, and Peter Brady has only just got a point. This is Finbar Cullen. Here's a chance of another. It comes off the post and it goes outside, and it's gone wide. Second wide of the second half for Offaly, and they're fourth in all. Kenneth Mortimer laying down the law to some of his fellow backs.
It is a very good chance. Finbar Cullen does everything right, tips it on his toe, drags it inside. Fairly easy chance. Offaly needed that one.
Pat Fallon coming to try and collect this one again. It's Ronan Mooney, however, who has it. Peter Brady. Brady, the provider this time. In towards Roy Malone. Dermot Flanagan doing well. Pat Holmes struggling in the greasy conditions to take that one up. Out by Noel Kennelly. James Nellon taking the shoulders, but looking a very commanding figure at centre half back. This time he loses it to James Brennan, not Peter Brady. Into space it comes. Vinnie Clappy trying to make some headway, held back by Dermot Flanagan, free into Offaly. And this can put just 4 points between the teams and cause Mayo fans to have a fair few nerves before the end of this match. Still about 8 minutes to go. David Reynolds with 2 points from free so far out of 5 attempts. This is another important kick for the player from Clara. Absolutely ideal for him, but he's missed a few. This one he doesn't. Third point at 3. Happy Offaly fans, but still a lot of work to do. He's making the case that there's about 10 minutes left. Well, there's about 8, but it might be 10 if the referee plays some added time. It's 10 points to 6. Mayo close to a place in the All-Ireland final, but Offaly will feel they're not out of it yet. Tommy Lyons has done marvellous work this year with his team. Remember, they are Division 4 champions, but here they are against Mayo, who've been the masters all through the afternoon. David Heaney. MacDonald having a very good second half. Into Liam McHale. Fed across towards Kevin O'Neill. This is the score they need. That will ease the nerves. Kevin O'Neill's first point. Just when Offaly were coming back. A killer blow for their chances again by the deadly Kevin O'Neill. After a very good build-up involving Kieran MacDonald.
Yes, and Liam McHale and Kevin O'Neill with a fairly easy chance, but again, Offaly not able to win the kick out after they have got a score. Mayo totally dominant around the middle of the field.
Brennan and Fallon. Fallon again, what a match he's playing at midfield. The Mayo number 8, Mooney. leaving it there to Maurice Sheridan. And that's going to beat them all. Line ball to Offaly. Barry Malone kicking. Grennan drops it but regains it. James Grennan up towards his brother. Sean lets it there. And inside there is Roy Malone. But that's tenacious play there. Wonderful play by Fergal Costello, the wing back for Mayo. Well, he's one of those heroes in defence this afternoon, a new man in the championship and a score of a very good point in the first half. Mayo have certainly done their homework well from goalkeeper up to midfield, and they've had so many chances up front. They should have a lot more scores on the board than 11 points. But they'll feel there's room for improvement if they can get to face Kerry on the final Sunday in September. James Nallen way up in the attack for Kevin O'Neill, who got that last point. Fairly routine by his standards perhaps, but vital nonetheless. And Offaly have won it back, but they've given it straight from that sideline kick to Maurice Sheridan, who slips in the rain. David Nestor pressurising. It's still Nestor, and he's put it wide. In a tighter situation, though, would be absolutely vital. Man who can't look there in the background. 17 wides Mayo, 4 wides for Offaly. So under 5 minutes to go of normal time. Colin McMenamin this time, good catch. Down towards Kevin O'Neill again. He's given the forward line an added dimension since coming on in the second half. He's always a threat. Nestor trying to get in on the blind side this time, but that favoured the taller man, who was Cathal Daly. Now Finbar Cullen. Ronan Mooney. It was David Reynolds over there trying to make possession his. Here's Larry Carroll. James Grennan, and it falls down into the waiting arms of Noel Kennelly, but then spills away from his grasp to Peter Brady. Trying to set up a chance here for Mark Daly. Easy one into the goalkeeper's arms, Burke doing well. And 2 Mayo players come for the same ball. Should have been easy, high challenge, the referee says. 3 in. Well, that was quite amazing. There were 2 Mayo defenders there waiting to take that pass from the goalkeeper. And instead they have committed a foul from which Offaly can draw within 4 points once again. Once again, it is David Reynolds to take. Just inside the 20-metre line. Straightforward kick and a 4th point. 4 points out of 7 chances, and again he's indicating there's plenty of time. So it's 11 points to 7. I'll tell you, Colm, a goal for Offaly at this stage, I don't know where it's going to come from, but it came from somewhere in 1982, and they'd be suddenly back in business.
Yes, and it was in the rain then too, but Offaly need to win these kickouts. Need someone to get up and punch it forward from behind. They haven't been doing that today.
Colin McMenamin outnumbered that time, and it's James Grennan trying to turn things around at midfield. Nice ball up front here to Vinnie Claffey, trying to get away from Dermot Flanagan. This may be it. Claffey stopped. Easy one for Peter Burke. Out for Kenneth Mortimer. Nervous moments for Mayo fans everywhere. Colin McMenamin, man who does so much work, but then took too long on that. Free taken in towards Roy Malone, drops down, taken by Pat Holmes instead. Out it comes to Pat Fallon. Real star this afternoon for Mayo. Bypassing McHale that time, into David Heaney. Nicely in for David Nestor. Getting away from Cathal Daly, has caused problems for Daly. Nestor still going forward, taking lots and lots of steps. The final kick has gone over the bar. Just a second point for David Nestor. They all count. Offaly about to make a late change. David Nestor, however, has changed the scoreline around here, and now Mayo are ahead by 5 points. So is it to be Kerry v Mayo? It's looked like that for a long way back as Vinnie Mooney comes in from Shannon Bridge, and Roy Malone is making way. One of the stars just 2 weeks ago in the Leinster final. Wasn't his day this afternoon, however. Finbar Cullen drops that one back to Liam McHale. Would have been a question of a push in the back before that happened to Finbar Cullen. Kevin O'Neill, Sheridan, back to Kennelly, who'll run and run all day. In towards David Nestor that time, dispossessed by Barry Malone. And the referee is in quickly, saw that the ball was scooped off the ground. It's going to be a free in for Mayo. So in injury time. So this free to be taken by Maurice Sheridan. 3 frees converted so far out of 6. There's room for improvement, and he will know that, and he'll practice hard, you can be sure. But he's had a difficult time in the build-up to this because of the hamstring problem. This is on the right side, suits him ideally. 4 points from Maurice Sheridan. Absolute joy for the Mayo following. They've waited 12 months to get back into the All-Ireland final. They are now close, 13 points to 7, well into injury time. And Mayo make a late change here, and they bring in PJ Loftus, goal-scoring star in last year's All-Ireland final. Going off for them is Maurice Sheridan. Mayo constructed 33 scoring chances, took 13 so far. Offaly had 22 scoring chances, they've taken just 7. Rick Kelly to kick this one out. How much time is left? James Nallen going across to try and field that one. Line ball is taken very quickly. Mooney is in there to try and challenge. Fergal Costello doing well again with Pat Holmes. Dermot Flanagan. The pressure was definitely on Mayo this afternoon to produce a winning scoreline, and that they have done. Mayo are back in the All-Ireland final for the 2nd year in a row, and it's going to be Mayo versus Kerry here in about 5 weeks' time. 4 to 5 weeks' time for that particular final, and Kieran MacDonald, I'm sure, will be part of the starting 15 that day. He got 3 great points during this match. And what about the tremendous contribution as well of Pat Fallon and David Heaney at midfield? Fallon in particular got so much ball there, won it splendidly. The back line were magnificent, denying Offaly time and again. And that renowned inside forward line of Offaly this afternoon limited to just 1 solitary second half point. They made the good start, and Pat Fallon simply drove on his team, which was well skippered by Noel Kennelly as ever. And Noel will be back to lead his side behind the Artane Boys Band on the last Sunday of September, because here in the second of the Bank of Ireland football semi-finals, it has ended. Mayo 13 points, Offaly 7.
Commentary there by Ger Canning, assisted by Colin O'Rourke. I've had with me here on the presentation panel this afternoon Tony Davis and Martin Carney. Martin, congratulations to Mayo, first of all, back in the All-Ireland final, and really, I suppose, there wasn't too much doubt about it.
There was never a doubt, actually, Michael, after the first 5 minutes when the trend started to develop. Mayo seemed to be totally dominant, and the only surprising thing really is that they weren't more ahead at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't really anybody in the day for Offaly that was able to inspire them. They tried manfully, but they just didn't seem to be able to get into into the game. Whereas Mayo throughout the field had players playing right up to their form. In particular midfield, I thought Pat Fallon outstanding. And the gamble of playing Liam McHale in a full forward work. But in saying that, they can't be overly confident about the All-Ireland because their forward play was still unconvincing. Like 17 wides, a lot of messing around. You know, it didn't reflect really the amount of dominance they had throughout the match. But still a wonderful day for Mayo football. Again, a credit to John Mohan and to the players and to the people like in the county board who have tried to keep the thing going in hard times, because you remember, Michael, as well as I do, 2 or 3 years ago we were the laughing stock of the nation, like when it came to football. So it's a wonderful day, and who knows.
There's absolutely no question that the turnaround in Mayo's football fortunes over the past 12 months, Tony, has been enormous. Let's look at this from an Offaly point of view. Not so much that they played badly today, they just didn't play or just weren't let play. I
think it's a combination of both. Nothing went right for them. If you remember in the first half, Vinny Claffey cut in on the corner, tried to punch it over the bar, he hit the upright. Davy Reynolds missed a couple of easy frees. And Mayo never really went out of sight. They were always only 4 or 5 points up. And if Offaly had got a goal with 10 or 15 minutes to go, quite possibly they could have come back into it. But really, it would have been unfair in Mayo because they were so dominant all through the game.
Yes.
But this is typical of Mayo, I feel. Winning for 3/4 of the field, and yet when the final punch comes to win a game, they didn't do it. It reminds me back of 1989 when we won the All-Ireland against Mayo.
Yes.
Looking back at those games, they had as much possession, if not more than us, and they just couldn't finish. And I think the same thing you can be said of this Mayo team.
Okay, well, I suppose, Martin, from that point of view, you cannot blame a player like Kieran MacDonald who scored 3 points today. Now, I know there would be some criticism of him saying that he doesn't pass the ball, he's a little bit selfish, but if you bang the kind of quality of points over the bar as he did this afternoon, then you're entitled to have somebody on the field who's prepared to have a go at it.
Well, that's one of the contrasts to last year. This time last year, Michael, Kieran was out in Chicago
That's right,
having a great time, and I think he went from there to the West Coast. But I mean, today he got a number of chances, missed as many as he scored, but he has the ability to finish, which is something maybe the other Mayo forwards haven't got. Here's a long ball into the corner, broken down. Again, David Heaney got the ball and transferred it to Kieran MacDonald immediately over the bar. Now, he got, as far as I know, 3 points in that game.
Yes, here's another one of them.
This is a beautiful chip lift in on his left foot, came outside and again curled it over the bar. Now, he's willing to take 10 attempts in order to get 3 or 4 scores. It has always been his style, actually, you know.
Yes.
And when things go badly, he's very often blamed for defeats. But in a situation like that today, he really made a difference in the context of the scores that he got. Now, a couple of times in the first half, we were a bit critical here of him not letting off the ball to people in better positions. And again, if he can rectify those faults and work on them, he will carry a big threat to the Kerry defence on All-Ireland final day.
Okay, gentlemen, well, a colleague of his in that full forward line, of course, was Liam McHale, the tall man at the edge of the square. He's talking now to Marty Morrissey.
Liam McHale, second All-Ireland final in a row coming up for you.
It's very unusual for a Mayo man to be in 2 All-Irelands. It's absolutely wonderful. You know, after last year's disappointment, John got us together and said we'll try our utmost to get back, and we're back, and we're absolutely delighted. It wasn't a brilliant game of football, but at least we were on the right side of it. I think we worked very hard. We won all the breaking ball. I think Noel Kennelly, Fergal Costello, James, all the backs were superb. They worked hard, and that's the launching pad for our game. Now, I think somebody said we had 18 wides, so obviously we need to work on that. But as I said, I'm absolutely delighted to be back in the All-Ireland final.
How did you enjoy playing at full forward?
It was good at times, it was frustrating at times. I felt that we had the beating of the Offaly full back line, and I felt that we could have got ball in a little bit more, but we didn't. But we won the game, Marty, and that's all that counts.
Okay, well, your manager must be a happy man, guiding his own county to 2 All-Ireland finals. Well done, John Mahan.
Thank you very much. Obviously, naturally enough, I'm very, very happy. And while it was a little bit unattractive at times, we don't mind. We have often lost good games, and it's nice to win a game, even if we did play poorly.
The facial expression, John, is one of a touch of sadness. I think you're already thinking we've a lot of improvement to do.
Yeah, that's true. There's no doubt about it, but we have a month to do it, and isn't it lovely to have something to work on? Because if we had played brilliant football there today, we'd have nothing to do for the next month.
Indeed. Overall, a very good team performance, because there was a lot thought of this Offaly full forward line.
Yeah, I thought our defence this time were absolutely magnificent. Dermot Flanagan, huge question marks over Dermot's into the... I didn't read the papers incidentally, so I don't know what they were saying, but people tells me that there was a question mark over a full back line. But Dermot Flanagan, Kenneth Morpeth, Pat Holmes, absolutely superb, and our half back line were absolutely magnificent today. Colin McMenamin was a welcome addition again from the kind of final performance where we won a lot of the breaking ball, and that was the kernel to our success today. It was workmanlike. It wasn't pretty at times, but at the end of the day we did put enough scores on the board to win the game.
And you're going to be playing against Paddy O'Shea's Kerry, a team that you beat in last year's semi-final. So psychologically, you know, you're not afraid of them.
Oh, there's no question. We're not afraid of anybody, and I think that's the one of the nice things about this present Mayo team. They're not afraid of anybody. We have a team that are good enough to win the All-Ireland. Obviously, it'll be a very, very difficult one to win, but having said that, we have an opportunity. The fact that we're there in the last two means we have a chance of winning it, and we'll be doing everything that we possibly can to win it. Now, obviously, Kerry will be formidable, but we've something to work on.
Here's a hard question, John. Who's your man of the match?
I'm not into singling out individuals. I thought our team today were absolutely outstanding, and there's no one individual. It's all about the team. It's a team game, and I thought our team were absolutely superb today.
Well done, John Maughan and Liam McHale.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks very much.
Yes, we might have a few views up here in the presentation box about who that man of the match might be. But before that, Martin Carney, let me just take up this point that we talked about before the game about the Mayo full back line. I suppose they gave us their answer today because that Offaly full forward line scored 1 point.
That's right. It's an amazing contrast actually from 15 days ago when they scored 3-8 from play. Today just 1 point. But I think there was great grouping by the Mayo defence in general. There was great folding back by the three half-backs. Fergal Costello I thought was brilliant. Absolutely played out of his skin. Jim Snallan likewise. But the three guys, Mortimer, Holmes and Dermot Flanagan, each I thought won or broke even in their individual contests.
Yes.
Whereas like Meath, weren't able to win any of those situations 15 days ago.
Yes.
Mortimer mopped up and covered very well. Dermot Flanagan, had his moments, a few ropey moments against Vinnie Claffey. But I thought just the collective ability of the six backs in grouping around the opposing forwards was the key to the success today. And they will make it equally as difficult, I think, for the Kerry forwards, because that same kind of tactic worked last year in the All-Ireland semi-final actually and caught Kerry on the hop a little bit.
Yes, I'm sure, Tony Davis, as a back yourself, you would have appreciated that point, because at times it looked like Mayo had three men to every one of the Offaly men when Offaly were in possession.
Yes, when I used to play cornerback with Cork, it used to be great to see everybody from corner forward, from number 15 down, when they lost position to defend and try and put your man under pressure, because when the opposition is under pressure, they can't place the ball where they want it. So in the end of the day, they may just have to kick a high ball or a 50-50 ball in, and that's your advantage. And it's very important for the middle eight, like Mayo did today, to win the breaks, to die on them and get it away quickly. There's nothing worse than to see a man running up the field with the ball so he can solo it and place it where he wants when your man runs. So even though the full back line did well today, I think you can credit around the midfield with Pat Fallon and those guys working very, very hard.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a great game against Kerry because they're both very similar in the way they play.
Right, yeah.
They both play good football, and I think it should be an open, good footballing game.
Well, that's one for a month's time. We certainly hope it is. We have more to talk about on this particular semi-final and indeed that prospect of the All-Ireland final between Mayo and Kerry after the commercial break, so do please stay with us. Welcome back again. We have some more people to talk to here at Croke Park this afternoon. Pat Fallon and Noel Kennelly, who had such superb games for Mayo today, are now talking to Marty Morrissey.
Pat Fallon and Noel Kennelly, a great day for Mayo. You've proved a point that you're good enough to be back in an All-Ireland final for the second year in a row.
Yeah, Marty, I think after last year, the experience we had here last year stood to us a lot. Last year, we played an All-Ireland semi-final and we bet Kerry. We knew coming back here today that today's game was going to be just as hard, if not harder. Offaly have proved themselves over the last number of games, and especially in the Leinster final when they played the best football that's been seen in Croke Park for a long, long time. We knew coming up here it was going to be a tough battle, but we've been saying all along that whoever wanted to win it the most would win it. And I think the Offaly lads, we had a fling at it last year and we didn't quite succeed. There was no way we were going to let it slip this year without getting another shot at it. The Offaly lads, I know we'll be back here again next year, and I know we're going to be a force in Leinster in the coming years. But today, there was no way, nothing was going to stop us today.
Noel, I'm sure you'd endorse those words, but how difficult were the conditions? How difficult was it to play football out there?
Yeah, very messy conditions, Marty. Started raining early this morning. We knew it was going to be sloppy conditions from the word go, so we had to kind of adjust boots, gloves, make sure that everything was ready, but we did that. Ground conditions were slippy, a lot of sliding going on out there. Defensive-wise, it was very difficult. If you lost your foot, and it meant that your forward was almost definitely going to get a score, so it was difficult in that respect. But I think the defence and the midfield worked tremendously hard today in tackling and whatever, and we got the result at the end of the day, you know.
We just had John Mahan a few moments ago. He just seems a little bit sad at the overall team performance in terms of 18 wides. Lots of room for improvement.
Yes, well, that story tells its own tale. I mean, 18 wides is not good enough to win any match, and especially going into an All-Ireland final against Kerry, the team on form at the moment, having overwhelmed Cavan last week. You won't get away with that against Kerry, and that's something we'll have to be looking at in the next 4 weeks. Is our shooting practice, and it gets the defence thing get kind of edgy and worried when you see all those wides going amiss of the post, and as I said, it's a thing that we must work on, and hopefully things will come much better for us in All-Ireland in 4 weeks' time.
Well, to both of you, congratulations. I'm sure we'll see a lot of you over the next couple of weeks.
Thanks very much, Martin.
Let's take up with the panel, with Martin and Tony, the point about how Mayo are going to improve their attacking options. They took off James Horan today. He wasn't featured in the match. Do they start him the next day? And if they don't, what about John Casey, who got no smell today of the game?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to call, actually, Michael. Like, James Horan, everybody realises in Mayo, hasn't played well since last year's All-Ireland series. Like, in the 3 games last year, he scored 1-9, or an average of 4 points a game, like over the games against Kerry and against Meath in the draw and replay game. But his form has deserted him. And I suppose John Mahan will be looking at possible options. And I think one of the options he'll look at is either to start Kevin O'Neill or to take in John Casey as a wing forward.
Yes.
Now, Casey, to my mind, has played his best position, or played his best football when he's running at the goals rather than playing with his back to it. He's a superb outfield player, and I think he has been miscast over a long period of time with Mayo by playing in the full forward line.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they look at that option for the All-Ireland final of playing him at left half forward, or as I said, maybe Kevin O'Neill could also be an option that they look at.
Sure.
But one way or the other, they have to look seriously at the constitution of the sextet and see exactly, is there some kind of improvement in terms of personnel that can be made there.
Yeah. Tony, there was no goal in this match today. I suppose one of the best chances fell to Mayo. In fairness to Offaly, they defended this one very stoutly because they were seriously under pressure at this stage.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Offaly did against Meath is they got a lot of people behind the ball, which they didn't do today because Mayo just didn't give them time to do that. And here we see David Nestor with an excellent game all through, kicking a high ball in. And I suppose Kevin O'Neill should have gone inside Cathal Daly here, but Cathal has been playing very well all year and it's very hard to get inside. And you can see them defending very, very well here. And in the end of the day, it was some great defending by the Offaly backs, and in particular Cathal Daly, who in the end blocks it down and clears a good ball out the field. And overall, he was about the only one of the Offaly backs today that really, really played well, and played well all through the year.
Yeah. Tony, you did very well there, actually, because you didn't see any of that insert because the monitor went on the blink. We go back to Marty Morrissey again. He's got Colin Quinn and Finbar Cullen, the Offaly captain, to talk to.
Finbar Cullen and Pádraig Kelly, not your day for the county of Offaly.
No, I'm after coming over very disappointed off the dressing room. To be fair to Mayo, they play extremely well. They've been here before, they know exactly what it takes to get to an All-Ireland final. I think the pace, they really set the pace of the game at an early stage. Got a good lead in fairness to them, and I think we were always kind of struggling to get back into the game. But you know, we can take a lot from the game. You know, we've come a long way, a hell of a long way in a short space of time. So it's a learning experience. We can take a lot from the game. I think experience was probably the difference at the end of the day. But you know, credit to Mayo. As I said, they set the pace of the game, and I'm sure they'll be thereabouts in the All-Ireland final. I certainly wish them all the best anyway.
Was it difficult for you, because you're a little bit lighter team than Mayo in terms of the weather conditions? Did that have a major say?
Well, it was the same for both sides, you know. It was the balls was popping up players' hands, it was skidding all over the place. It was the same for both sets of teams. Preferably, I suppose, we'd have to play with a dry ball, all right. Probably, as in the Leinster final, we proved we can play a bit of ball, but a wet, skiddy day, it just didn't happen for us in the day.
Pádraig Kelly, no goals conceded. I know you're bitterly disappointed, but still, Offaly have achieved a lot in 1997.
Yeah, as Finbar said, it was, we've come a long way from, say, this time last year where we were, and probably put pride back in the Offaly jersey. And that was, at the very outset when we started off, that was what really our aim was. We were bitterly disappointed that we didn't do ourselves justice today, but we'll be back next year, hopefully, and make amends for it.
Do you think that you can learn from this? Because after all, in fairness to Mayo, they were in the All-Ireland final last year.
Definitely. Like, I'm sure they learned a lot by their All-Ireland final, their 2 finals last year.
And it takes experience. Like, that was our first All-Ireland semi-final. Like, it's as I said, it's always been a gradual learning process for us. But we'll take a lot from this.
Well, congratulations on winning the Leinster, and nothing lost by losing today. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was Pádraig Kelly, of course, the Offaly goalkeeper with Finbar Cullen there. Well, gentlemen, let's come back again to Martin, one of the outstanding players, for my money anyway, David Nestor for Mayo this afternoon, who really put in a workmanlike performance.
He was wonderful, I thought. Like, he's a mixture of, exuberance, intelligence, instinct, but his industry is the thing that stands out throughout, and he had a wonderful tussle with Cathal Daly. There's a great ball through from David Heaney, I think, into David Nestor. Now, they're like two little Jack Russells, both himself and Cathal Daly.
Yeah,
he takes it on here. Daly's great defending, keeps him outside him. Nestor's running out of legs there, because down to the left one, and, curls a beautiful shot over the bar. I know after that score, he was down in his hunkers for a minute or two, absolutely warped. But he was great throughout. And over the last couple of games, he has really worked harder than any other Mayo forward, and thrilled for him.
It's down to 2, Tony Davis, at this stage. Who's going to win this All-Ireland now, do you reckon?
It's very, very hard at this stage. With 5 weeks ago, anything could happen. Say, for instance, Maurice Fitzgerald pulls the hamstring next week, throws all Kerry's plans out the window. So it's very hard to call at this stage. But they're very, very evenly matched. And we were discussing it a while ago. Nearly all the teams that are left in the concluding stages of the championship now have been successful at underage level. Yeah. And these teams played at underage level.
That's right.
And in the end of the day, Kerry came out on top. I'm going to prop up and go for Kerry in the final. And I'm sure Martin is going to go for Mayo. But I feel Kerry have it this year to win the All-Ireland.
All right, Martin, in 20 seconds, can Mayo improve enough from last year to win this All-Ireland?
I think so. They have the experience, the immediate experience of playing in an All-Ireland final on 2 occasions in the last 12 months. Kerry haven't been there since 1986. I think Mayo have a great chance, Michael.
Well, I think it has the makings of a great football match. Whoever wins it. Thank you to Martin and Tony for joining us this afternoon. That's where we leave it then from Croke Park. But don't forget, of course, as usual, on the Sunday game later on tonight, you can see a full review of this afternoon's match. There'll be further analysis of the game, and we'll also be naming our man of the match from this game today. So congratulations to Mayo into the All-Ireland final. Also congratulations to the Miners of Laois, who are back in that All-Ireland final, also like Mayo. Until later on tonight, thank you for joining us.